Thanks for joining me on this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content on the channel. And also be sure to follow me on these other social media platforms. Links are in the description below. All right, have and have not fans, we just finished up the damn defibrillator, and was it just me, or did you get like a different vibe from this episode? It just seemed more contained. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but it felt like there was a lot going on, but then there wasn't a lot going on. I mean, maybe it's because we were kind of restricted to certain locations for a while. Like, we had, in Hannah's house, then we had at the hospital, at the jail, at the Malone bar, at the Artesian Hotel, at Catherine's house, and on the random street, the back road that RK parked, and that's when they burned the van up. But it was a pretty good episode. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it moving so fast. I mean, was it just me, or did it feel like the episode was moving fast? Because what really made me go, holy crap, they are not wasting time, was when we have Veronica shocked right before the commercial break, and then when we come back to the show, she's in the hospital bed. We're not used to seeing that. Usually it takes like 2 or 3 episodes from the time someone gets into an accident until the time when they're in the hospital. So I was taken aback by that. Then we know next week she's going to be out, of course. But first off, at least we know in the next episode, we're going to finally move on to the next day. And of course, I'll do my trailer breakdown and everything. Probably, I think tomorrow, because if you've been keeping your eye on the channel, I've posted about 20 videos over the past couple days, so I can finally take it a little slower now. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid episode that had me going, holy crap, well damn. Jeffrey was the MVP of this episode, seconded by Benny. Benny, because the fact that he held his own against 2 Malones was actually pretty damn solid. Compare that when it was him and Mitch versus Warlock and his crew back in the motel room the night that Quincy Jr. got shot. I mean, well, to be fair, they were heavily outnumbered, but at the same time, they sort of held their own until the guns came out. But Benny was doing pretty well. I think one of the guys was actually pretty big compared to Benny. Yeah, that's right, because he held Benny while the short guy punched him. Fight choreography in that scene was a little meh, because you can tell the punches didn't seem to have an impact, like when Benny was being held up and he was getting punched in the chest. But in any case, at least he's going to survive, because Mitch will show up. He's going to survive. Oh, sorry about that. I'm getting messages about the episode right now from fans. But yeah, when Jeffrey took the defibrillator, exactly as I predicted, as well as a bunch of other fans, like, I knew Veronica was going to be the one to say that damn defibrillator. But basically, not much to say on the Veronica scene, due to the fact that I'm just getting sick of her and Candice both being so freaking delusional. Like, I really have nothing to say on that. They believe that everyone else is against them. They ruin their lives, basically pointing the finger at everyone but themselves for the way their lives are like now. More messages. I really need to cut this iPod on silence. But in any case, yeah, when he took the defibrillator, and forgive me, I did not catch the name of the I'm guessing like the male nurse or whatever at the front desk. I was actually tweeting at the time, so the name, I was not paying attention, but I'm pretty sure you'll let me know in the comments what the guy's name was. I did not catch it, but I'm pretty sure you'll tell me. Again, it's like I theorized in a previous video, a video I did not expect to do as well as it was. What was it? Will Jeffrey push Veronica down a flight of stairs? I mean, that is hilarious. But yeah, it seems like this is a possible love interest for Jeffrey, and I knew Justin would get jealous. But again, that's in next week's episode. Jeffrey doesn't give a damn about, being called on by the police and whatnot. Pretty sure Justin would try to get him out of the situation anyway, because I do believe we see Justin in his police uniform. Which begs the question of, once again, is there any other cop that's doing their job aside from Justin? I mean, that one guy, when Sal Malone was standing outside of that woman's house and refused to leave, he's like, well, damn, you're the one they sent? So, yeah, Justin is still being hazed by his fellow police officers. And kind of skipping ahead though, but we see him put in the cell with Wyatt. Wyatt's still begging for drugs, and pretty sure Justin wants him to be so desperate that he'll suck his wee wee in order to get it. So we can hold out on that for a little while. And I know we're jumping around, but the episode really did jump around itself. Not that that's a bad thing, but it just felt kind of weird that we actually made a lot of progress in one episode. But again, just like I predicted, Malik ran out of the house, got into the van, and surprisingly enough, I'm shocked that we didn't have at least one scene where we have RK and Candice in the front driving away with Malik saying what happened and like, you know what, I want to kill your mama. She said you ain't had no money. I want to kill you too. I was looking at least to one scene with him threatening, and then he eventually faints. Then in another scene when they pull over and they realize he's dead. But yeah, like I said, it was because of obviously a lot of blood loss. Whether or not he was dead is questionable. I mean, it's just a matter of, remember when Quincy got stabbed so many times, he actually lost consciousness but briefly regained it. But unlike Quincy with Malik, we'll never know because he got burned alive. Well, he got burned up, so we don't know if he was alive. And I already saw the tweets, that van better be more burned up than Erica's car was. So once again, and with the police, getting the fingerprints and all, because as I said before in the last episode review, pretty damn dumb that Malik was touching everything without gloves on, and plus they got the blood there too. So maybe they'll eventually find the van in the next morning. Then they'll discover DNA and then put two and two together. Well, wait, wouldn't Candice and RK's DNA be in the van as well? From probably fallen hair, if they, because Candice was wearing, weave, and well, does that have DNA? I mean, then there were fingerprints as well, but that's, assuming any of those pieces of evidence survived the fire itself. So that's up to interpretation. Then they were walking away from the fire, and this is when my damn cable kept blinking on and off. But from what I did hear the dialogue, and I'm pretty sure in the comments you'll fill in the blanks if I missed anything important. But, Candice was talking about how she's ready to get out of here. There's too much death in this town. And I did not catch what she was saying about you can keep it. I did not catch it because the cable messed up. So fill in the blanks for me, please. Candice looks damn good in that lighting. I don't know why that is. But she's killed Oscar. She's cremated Malik. Yeah, it's time for her to go. But it's kind of crazy because that episode synopsis from a while back about Candice is up to her old schemes to make some quick cash in order to skip town. She's probably going to take a day or so to get herself together, but she'll try to leave. But that's when Charles will intercept her, and we'll have to wait and see what happens there. And I already did a video about that, about, will Candice finally accept Charles's offer? And then I also did a follow-up video about, will Candice's father be revealed after she becomes first lady? You can check those out on the channel. And let's see here. Just want to make sure we cover the bread and butter. Veronica. I will admit the funniest part about Veronica being shocked is like, I'm praying that whore is burning in hell. And what had me laughing was the fact she claimed she was praying, yet when she got shocked by Jeffrey, she was falling to the ground like she caught the Holy Ghost. And it really reminded me of Wendy Williams when she fainted on her show. And I'm just like, oh my God. But once again, I was just shocked at how quickly they were moving, from her being shocked to being in the hospital bed. And I think the doctor himself was kind of chuckling at the fact, like, oh, this family dynamic. But David saying is like, that could have killed her. I was trying to. It's like, that's your mother. David, this is not the time. Being soft-hearted is what has you in this position to begin with. And then you telling your son not to be cold and like your mother. Well, to be fair, Veronica is just a vindictive as David said, a cold, cruel, vindictive, simple bitch. And I'm just like, well, yeah, that's very true. And she commits these crimes and murders and whatnot because she felt wronged by someone, whereas Jeffrey was literally protecting you. Not to mention, he knows that she was the one that put you in there. So Jeffrey was acting out of protection, kind of like when he hit Wyatt upside the head with the golf club. Well, to be fair, that was just to keep him from telling Jeffrey's parents that he was gay. The only time I really rationalized his violence was when he cracked Quincy upside the head with the bottle, because he was literally being threatened with his life. Stabbing Veronica, that was a mixture of grief and a bunch of other emotions, not to mention pent up stress and tension over the years from Veronica. So I'll let that slide as well. But yeah, I mean, if Veronica kept hitting you upside the back and whatnot, there's no telling if she would have made the back burning scars even worse. So you should be thanking your son. On top of that, I did love the scene where he called Jim up, and just the fact that Jim is like, you know what, my name is shit in this town, but let's do what we can to help out David. And I agree, it's like the FBI can't spare one agent to watch after the victim of a bombing. Isn't there something wrong with that? But basically, he made that call for Jeffrey. And then did anybody else but me just go, oh my God, Catherine and Jim were in the same bed? And I remember tweeting that out. I remember the last time we seen this was when Jim was in bed with Catherine, the night that Amanda got shot, and then he got kidnapped by Warlock and his crew. But it was just funny because he was only sleeping in the bed because Quincy whooped his ass. And I don't count the sex they had that one time where he took one for the team. That was right before they went to the funeral home to finalize the details for Quincy Jr. That wasn't like them in bed together in terms of for the night. That was just okay, I'm gonna sex you up, and Catherine wasn't buying it. But yeah, it was kind of funny. And then when Catherine turns around, what the hell are you doing in here? And I'm just like, well, Jim, that is a good question. I mean, like she said, there's 5 or 6 other bedrooms. Why did you pick that one? Interesting. But again, Catherine dropping everything and going to check on her friend, you can't fault her for that at all. But yeah, I mean, let's see. I think there's one more thing to talk about before we finally shift gears to the, the Hannah and Derek stuff. Don Malone, I ain't gonna lie, of course, given the climate, sorry, readjusting myself in my chair. Dang, leg fell asleep. But, the climate we're in with African Americans in America, with the recent Colin Kaepernick and Nike and stuff like that. It kind of gets old seeing, the old stereotype is like the black kid. There are no good black people. I'm just like, whatever. But I ain't gonna lie, Don Malone got a sick hairstyle. I will admit that. But Mitch standing up to his friend like that is just amazing. And then the fact that, to be fair, my argument would have been like, look, I know how our family works, but to, again, be fair, there's a hit on this black kid for no reason at all. His life is in danger. So don't you think he could get a pass with the interest? Not to mention, you say there's a payment coming up. I thought he had 6 months. It hasn't even been 6 days. What the hell are you talking about? So, what is it? He could pay the money back, but if he doesn't have the interest, will break his legs. Okay, that doesn't make much sense. And this is a reason the episode's going to lose at least 1 point. We had Mitch saying he was going to talk with Mama Rose about this, or talk with Grandma, but then at the end of the episode, we see him back at the bar before he goes up to pick up Benny. Why the hell did they skip over that part? Damn, I wanted to see that. I really wanted to see what Mama Rose would say about this. And he's like, yeah, she'll shut your ass down. I'm like, oh, well, damn, Mitch. Okay, all right. And then he said, we got Sal staging, an arrest. That way he can get the kid on the inside, which begs the question, what is Vinny going to think about this? Because remember, he told Mitch that this was something he wanted handled, not himself, not by the family. He wanted the kid brought to him. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. I don't think Wyatt's going to die in jail. But at the same time, I feel like Vinny's vengeance will be fulfilled. Vinny's vengeance. Vinny's vengeance. But yeah, Mitch, definitely a great friend. I like seeing that. And to wrap things up, just talking about Hannah, again, it looks like my theory was wrong that, Derek would see a guy that was, well, actually, I changed my theory back in my last episode review. I'm like, oh, maybe this is a guy that's helping out Derek because they're seen walking down the sidewalk together when Hannah's there. And I'm just like, Hannah, you haven't been living in this neighborhood long enough, but there's no way in the world that any of your white neighbors are going to open their doors to a screaming black woman at night. That's all I'm saying. Then, they go inside, they calm down. Just like, I hope Hannah calmed down before Derek called the police, because if not, the cops are going to think the person that broke in, his name was Lord Jesus, because she wouldn't stop screaming. But, give it up to Hannah, defending her castle. Just like I said in my video about will Derek realize that he is Candice's father, I'm pretty sure, one of the reasons he would break down and cry is because Hannah would tell the tale of how she got raped because this situation would remind her of that night. And to be honest, Derek now, and remember I did that video about Catherine and Derek having a past. Based off what we saw in the preview for next week's episode, we do see a brief scene between Derek and Catherine. Again, I'll get into more detail in my trailer breakdown. I think we'll know about that next. I think it has something to do with Veronica. But overall, Derek, crying like that, a black man does not break down and cry and pray like that unless God took him through some storms. So all I'm saying is this: I feel like sooner or later, probably sooner, we're going to find out what's up with Derek. Yeah, I understand him crying. Like when he was crying when Hannah said she got raped, I'm like, did something happen with him when he was younger? But then, when it got to praying for Candice, I'm just like, well, what is it like when two or more are gathered in my name? Hopefully those prayers will work, because Quincy Jr. tried praying, Hannah tried praying, but praying together. Hopefully that's enough. I doubt it, but hopefully that's enough. But, it's kind of funny because that episode, Hannah's tea, now we have Derek's tea. So that was pretty cool. But I was just like, oh, crap. I know they're not going to show it in this episode, but I hope Derek doesn't try to sleep with Hannah, because part of me, when I saw Hannah on the bed, I'm like, okay, the shirt's coming off and we're going to see if he has a tattoo or not. Nope, we didn't see it. So that was it. But overall, I think it was a pretty solid episode. It really gave me a different vibe because it felt like it moved so fast in some areas. But overall, I think it was a pretty good episode. I was disappointed by the lack of Mama Rose and Mitch. Not seeing, not getting at least one Malik scene where he's talking from the back of the van. I thought we would get at least one brief scene of that. I think this episode deserves an 8.5 out of 10. I think a 9 would be solid, but there were just a couple things missing. Not to say it was a bad episode, but I feel like there were a couple of key scenes I would have liked to have seen. I've already said it before, Mitch and Mama Rose, as well as if there was an extra Malik scene. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Again, guys, I've posted like nearly 20 videos between have and have nots, if loving you is wrong, the pains, a bunch of the real world events going on in the world now, from Nike to Jeffrey Owens and Tyler Perry. So like I've been saying before, I've been trying to really branch out the channel on various other topics. Keep in mind that even if you see something that's Power Ranger related or something related to Michael Jackson, those videos do not slow down the process. I always record my Tyler Perry content first, and if my throat is up to it, in order to talk some more, and if I have any downtime, I get those videos done and I post them all together. So don't think that if you see like 5 non-Tyler Perry videos in a row, that it's like, dang it, Jeremy, why are you doing Dragon Ball Z? I want to see what your next theory is. Again, those theories are done priority first. So hope you subscribe to the channel. Help me get 50,000 subscribers before the end of the month. And yeah, share the channel around your friends, because, not humble brag here, most of my predictions for tonight's episode were correct.